It's your first day at school. You turn up wide-eyed, but you've got a big brother in that school. He's 4 or 5 years older than you, and he's a legend. Gets A's at everything, captains all the sports teams, all the girls love him. And you have to follow in his footsteps. It's the toughest gig of your life. But nothing compared to what the Ferrari F50 had to do, because it had to follow the Ferrari F40. And I think that is the toughest gig in motoring history. But I would suggest this might be the greatest Ferrari road car ever built.
Tyres.
Oh. No. One thing I need to do before I drive this thing is to wear the correct footwear.
To drive an F50 properly, you need to wear the exclusive Todd's Racing booties supplied with each of the 349 cars.
Quick car, quick shoes. I am actually quite a grumpy man, but I can't stop grinning because I've just had 10 minutes driving this sensational Ferrari F50, and it's reminded me that it's one of the greats. Might be the greatest, you know, because now I'm old enough to not care about which one's absolutely the fastest and which one's got the highest top speed and goes round the Nürburgring in under 3 minutes and all that shit. I want a story. I want something special within that story, and I want a driving experience, and this car delivers perhaps more than any other of the so-called supercars, because it is living in the shadow of the F40 for so much of its life, but it's a much more ambitious thing. Ambition is the word. I remain convinced this is the most ambitious car Ferrari's ever made. At the time when everyone else was knobbing about making unitary bodied supercars, I know the McLaren F1 was around as well, but you know, a full carbon tub, you've got an engine that's a stress member, the suspension's hanging off that engine. It's a racing car. That 3.5 litre V12, 512 horsepower, is actually derived, that block is from a Formula 1 car. That hasn't been tried since. Well, it has. Mercedes with the AMG 1, and we know how that ended, not so well.
We'd like to ask for a moment of your time.
So, then you've got the way it drives. Put bluntly, there is no better engine gearbox combination for pure enjoyment than this V12 and that gearbox. It is, oh my God, what's the adjective? Mesmerising. It's fast, but it requires a forceful shoulder to make it work well. It's mechanical. It flatters you when it goes well. It punishes you when you don't do it well. Look at this now. And then the downshift, a little heel and toe, match that V12 with the gear speed. Sensational. Honestly, just the best. Wow. When I look at what people are paying for some of these modern supercars, this, and I'm not just saying this because we're about to sell it, I really am not. I couldn't care about that side of things right now. This shit's on all of them. All of them. Just not even the same game. This is the real deal. Buy this, learn how to drive it, celebrate it. Look at the carbon, look at that dashboard. Feel that gear shift. Hear that V12. Learn to heel and toe. You don't need paddles and all that shit. Right, well, listen to this. Yeah. You might be able to tell that I quite like it. So, if you happen to have a lot of money lying around and you like cars, get bidding immediately.
The F50 is the detail king. Lift that vast rear clam and you can't just see the 4.7 litre V12, you can stand with it. This car is running the standard exhaust, which actually sounds better in the cabin than the open types. The motor is sensational. F1-derived 4.7 litres producing 519 horsepower at 8,000 RPM and 347 foot-pounds of torque at 6,500 RPM. The rear suspension is attached directly to the engine block, the chassis has a carbon tub, and the claimed curb weight is 1,400 kilograms, which sounds a lot, but the car doesn't feel anything like as heavy to drive. The seats are a study in 90s cool. The instrument cluster must have looked like something from a sci-fi film in 1995, and there's a sparseness to the cabin that I just love. Oh, and please now rack your brains to name a better dished rear wheel than that. In the flesh, it's a stunning shape, and it's a rare car. Only 349 were made. Accordingly, values have increased lately. The winning bidder will have themselves arguably the finest Ferrari supercar ever. Oh, and they'll get the shoes for free. Oh, and for those of you wanting to see an F50 sliding around, here's one we slid earlier. Remember that film? I do.